Hello and welcome everyone. This is Phoenix with your Patriot Health Report for the weekend of January 25th, 2025. All the health facts you need to know for the Patriot on the go. Patriots of the world, hope you're doing well. Hope you're healthy. If you're not, listen up. We have a very interesting topic today. We're going to be discussing positive attitude and positive thinking for the golden age. Yeah, how about that? The golden age. I'm sure many of you are very aware of what I'm talking about. Maybe some may not be, but this is a multifaceted topic that we'll get into here with our expert on all of this, Bob Gilpatrick of Boomers Forever Young. And he's joining us live from down in Florida. Well, you're listening to this recorded. I'm recording it live, but Bob and I are doing this, and he is down in Florida. Bob, how are you, sir? How are things going down there? And did you go sledding this weekend down in Florida this week, or go skiing or anything? Because I hear you guys got some snow.
Yeah. No, everything's fine. The snow was farther to the north. Florida's a big state. It takes a long time, to drive from Miami all the way up to Pensacola. Man, it must be, let's see, about 4 and 8. Must be about close to a 12-hour drive.
Oh, wow.
So northern Florida is much farther north than southern Florida. So like in Miami, it was in the 60s, but in the north, it was in the 30s, and it snowed, and they broke the all-time record for the most snow in a day in Florida. It snowed 9.5 inches in Milton, Florida. But so I didn't do any sledding. I was busy doing transurfing.
Transurfing, there you go. That's even better than sledding. You know what? 9 inches of snow. I live in the Northeast, okay? We haven't had 9 inches of snow yet this winter. That's crazy. But this is the type of anomalous thing we're seeing right now on all levels. We're going to see some very disruptive things, disruptive events, disruptive information, and some very, very positive things happening that, might be kind of shocking to people and almost unbelievable to people. Anyway, we'll get into that in our topic. But before we get on the topic, which is really, really good, and I can't wait to hear what you have to share with us, do you have any news, updates, I don't know, anything you want to share with us about what's going on down there on your business that we all may want to know?
Yes. Yeah, thanks. So we do right at the moment, if people are listening here on the 25th, we have a special going on where we're doubling the discount we normally give for people getting onto auto ships. So when people use an auto ship for a nutrition product, Phoenix, it benefits everybody, because the person that puts it on auto ship gets a 10% discount plus free shipping, but then also they don't run out of the product. And when you have a product that you really like, auto ship does not become a burden where you're worried about stacking up too many of something and then you can't cancel your auto ship. It's a different story when you have a product like Myotrol or Gladiator barley, and you're looking forward to that coming, and you're hoping that it keeps coming. And so right now, if people want to get started with a product or add a product to what they're already doing, we're going to give them 20% off their auto ship for this next month instead of the normal 10%. So that's what we're doing right now. And we're waiting on some deliveries for some of our products. We, for a long time for us, for 4 months or so, we haven't had any of our product called Clarity Factor. There's a lot of people that love that product because it makes them feel so good. But the company that we were buying it from was having lots of internal problems, and they couldn't make it anymore. So it took us quite a while to find somebody that could make an exact replica of it. But they did. It's still going to be called Clarity Factor, and we're hoping that they go ahead and finish it by the end of next week and ship it to us, and that we'll have it, at the latest, the middle of February, so people can start getting it again. I'm looking forward to it myself. But that's what's going on down here. People are very, very optimistic around here in Florida. We're used to having, a governor that is very positive and helps people feel optimistic. And now with the recent changes, we're also seeing people that were depressed and waiting are now starting to really feel optimistic about things. And that's a really good sign that we can feel it. And I have been talking to people on the phone that are calling to talk to me about this or that, and I'm telling them, listen, we're doing a program for Midnight Overwatch, Patriot Health Report. It's going to come out on Saturday the 25th. Why don't you tune into that? Because there's going to be a lot of really science-backed information about positivity and positive thinking. And so I think we're starting to see a big change.
Well, I tell you what, things have changed in a lot of ways, geopolitically, like I was saying in the intro, in different ways, and also energetically and astrologically. We have a lot of changes going on, and an entire shift of energy that we're all going to experience for the next couple decades here, without a doubt. But we do have things. There's always constantly what do we call it? Ripples in the matrix of difficulties and problems. Like, you accidentally locked out of the house by your spouse, and they weren't there, and you had to go through the window or some crazy thing like that, or anything. Like, where are my keys? Just ready to go, and we have these things. And how do we stay positive in all of this? And also, the nature of life and the energetics of life is, things happen because there are, we talk about positivity, Bob, and having a positive attitude. And, some people have said, Phoenix, we create our own reality. That's true. That's very true. And that's what we're going to talk about here with Bob. But the reality of that is there's also, in this collective reality that we exist in the matrix, the web, the ether, there are individuals who are doing the anti of that. And sometimes they kind of power up, and those vibes, those situations, those events come through, and they break through. And the skill set that we need is to be able to, no matter what, maintain a positive attitude and deal with this. Would you agree, Bob?
Yeah, absolutely. We create our own reality, but it's a co-creation. There are energies all throughout the universe, certainly in our solar system and on our planet, that act kind of as a platform for life and experience. And we can create the way we think about things, the way we observe. We can choose what we believe about the reality around us and form our own reality within that. But you do have to pay attention to the other energies, because you are not the only energy. There's other people whose pinpoint has taken on a different vibration. So the way I look at it is each human is created by God. There's a spark of God in each human. And that spark is a piece of the hologram of the whole. And but each individual has some sense of a free will, and each individual can choose the path that they're on. And other people's paths can have an effect on your path if you don't stand guard at the door of your energy.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think what you're saying is absolutely right.
That's biblical. That's
speaking
biblical.
of
Bob, real quick.
Yeah.
That's biblical. There's a passage, I believe, in the Bible that says, "Guard your heart, above all things, guard your heart." And you basically just said that right now. You protect your heart, your being, from the energies that potentially could interfere with your heart.
Yeah, and most of your energy that's being shared with the universe is actually coming from your heart muscle. So your body is producing electromagnetism and in different wavelengths. So we give off heat, and heat is given off in the form of near infrared light, and you are giving it off, and it can also be reflected back into your body. And so people use crystals. So when people hold a crystal to their chest, that crystal is actually reflecting the light, which is heat that's coming off your body. It's reflecting a portion of it back in. And so different crystals reflect different wavelengths. And that's why scientists have created like the special patches that you can put on to the back of your neck, because they're reflecting a bit of the spectrum, and it's actually activating your genome, because part of the way your genes get activated to express themselves is from light. And your very own light, if reflected scientifically, can actually change your genetic expression. And there's some very famous scientists that figured all this out. But you can also accept vibrations straight from a source, like a laser, which is not your reflection, but rather a penetrating bit of light from the electromagnetic spectrum. And it's very good to know of such things, because you can literally, put crystals on your body, crystals that are in a patch on your body. You can get discs that are infused with vibrations that activate your genome, and you can take pills that activate your genome. And I have this testimonial, a Phoenix, that came in from this 82-year-old lady who's talking about this in a sense. And this is what she said. She goes, "I just wanted to comment on the wonderful products I take and how they've made me feel so alive and healthy. I'm 82 years of age, and I don't get sick with colds or coughs. I don't think I could catch anything. So thank you. Without the Boost, Barley, and Collagen and all the other products, there's no way I'd be able to keep going like an Energizer bunny. I feel that good. But the very best product that seems to secretly build my muscles, and in my opinion, the star of the show, is Myotrol. I no longer wonder if anything is too heavy or if I can pick it up. I just do it, and many times it's heavy, but it doesn't bother me. I live on 17 acres and have a lot of outside work, along with caring for my 5-year-old granddaughter, that I say keeping up with her is like trying to nail Jell-O to a tree. I don't get tired, and I love the energy and the happy way that I feel. One more benefit to your wonderful products is it keeps me from showing my age. I love it and recommend it to many, but they don't believe me. Perhaps I come on too strong. Anyway, thank you very much, and keep on keeping on. Blessings to you."
Wow. That's a great testimonial. And you made me laugh when I didn't laugh out loud, but almost. Nailing Jell-O to a tree. Come on. It's so fun.
It's her 5-year-old granddaughter.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Here
crazy.
she is, 82. Yeah.
This is
Yeah, we have a
82.
lot of people that in that age range. It seems like most of our testimonials have come from people in their mid 70s to mid 80s that are benefiting from Boomer Boost and Barley and Myotrol. And it's like they have a lot of room to gain because they've been slowly sliding, for years. Your body's genetic expression changes at around age 35, and you start to lose muscle and energy from there. And that's why you see most athletes in pro sports are retired by that age. Their genes begin to express less frequently. But now we know that there are techniques that if we take them by mouth or we use crystals, that we can actually reactivate those genes to be expressed more often. The gene itself is still there, but the genes are all wrapped in this protein sheath like a plastic wrap. And what's changing as you age is that sheath is unwrapped less often, allowing for the duplication of it by the RNA molecule. So if the sheath is still staying wrapped, there's no gene to be observed by the RNA. And the new sciences are developing ways that you can take a pill and the molecular compounds that are in the pill get into every cell of your body and are pinging that sheath on the DNA and saying, bing, open up right here. The RNA is coming to get the instruction from the DNA so we can begin making proteins to build muscle, and we can begin making more adenosine triphosphate for energy. And it's really a great revolution, similar to this golden age we're talking about. There's also a golden age in the world of science that's allowing people, for the first time really in history that we're aware of, to have their body perform as if it's much, much younger. And it was just been recently, just really a few years, where there's been anything that can force your body to act like it's much younger through the stimulation of the sheath around the DNA. And this is huge because the DNA is there. You still have the capability of having your body be very young. But the problem is it gets harder and harder to open up the gap for that copying to take place. But now we have technology, the best of which is Myotrol, that stimulates this part of the sheath and that part of the sheath and that part. Next thing you know, you can build muscle like you were 20 years old again. You have energy like you were 20 years old again. Focus, concentration, just as if you were on your A game from the prime of your life. And here's a lady, 82 years old, who's ecstatic how good she feels. And it's possible she never felt this good in her life because she didn't have the years of wisdom, didn't have the years of contrast to appreciate it. A lot of times when people are young, they don't appreciate how great they feel and how strong they are because it's just what they are. But when you're 82, you have an intense clarity through contrast. Wow. 3 months ago, I was 81 and a half, whatever, and this is how I felt. And now, bam, I think I felt like this when I was 20, but I don't ever remember feeling this good. And this is reality now. This is the truth of 2025 is much, much different than it was at the beginning of 2024 before anyone on earth had ever tried Myotrol. I was one of the first 5 people to try it back in July of 2024.
Yeah, very cool. Yeah, we are. This is the time of change. This is novelty, hyper novelty that's been tagged that by Cliff High, and many astrologers who talked about the changes that we're in right now energetically, and this all goes in line with that. We're looking for disclosure. We're looking for truth coming out. We're looking for alternative um, type of technologies coming out, and we're going to see this. This will happen, and again, the positive attitude a lot of people are feeling. I have actually witnessed, Bob, some people like, yeah, that's all good, but let's see what happens, because it's kind of a situation of once bitten, twice shy, and it's been so hard for a lot of people in a lot of aspects in the past that sometimes people kind of like lean to the negative side. Now, it's good to have your eyes wide open, be very, very positive in all these things, and hope for the best, but you must be wise, have your eyes open, and the skill set of this, I believe, Bob, is when, because it's easy when the sun is shining, the butterflies are out, your bank account is full, someone loves you, you love them, all is well. It's good it's easy to be positive then. Oh, I'm very positive. But what happens when the sunshine goes away, the rain clouds come out, the lightning comes out, people have issues, socially or whatever, and we see all these things, potentially financial problems come. The skill set, Bob, is maintaining positivity through all things. Because we are, and this is factual, everyone needs to know this, and I say this to my listeners of PIR, I say it a lot, and I get into the point I say things so many times they're almost cliche, so I have to stop saying them, but I say this all the time. God wins. God wins. And if you want to know how I know that, hang on a second. That's me flipping to the back of the book. Oh, spoiler alert, God wins. Okay, that's the fact. And we have to remember that. And we have to know that through all of these things. There's many tricks to maintaining this positivity. And the beautiful thing about your testimonial and her, she's so happy about it. It gives her positivity. It gives her hope. This is a real example, your testimony that you just gave with your customer here, God bless her, that she finally feels like she hasn't felt. And she can't even remember she felt that good when she was young. Now, that's a positive feeling, okay? And that's brought on physiologically by your products and all of that. But, it's a skill set. I mean, she has that right now, but what happens if she bumps her knee? She's still going to feel that way. What happens if, she stubs her toe and her car breaks down? Is she still going to feel that way? And that's the skill set we're talking about. Maintaining the positive attitude, positive mindset in the golden age, because it is golden. But everyone, golden age, gold. Where does gold come from? Where does gold come from? Sometimes it comes from ore. And what happens to this beautiful gold in the ore? The ore must be crushed. You break it up. You smash it. You hammer it down. You have to break it up. And then when you get it down and broken down, it goes into the fire. Goes into the fire. And then it is heated up to extremely high temperature. And then things are added to it to separate it from the parts of it that are not pure gold, and the gold settles to the bottom because it's the purest, it's the heaviest, right? So purification through fire. So the golden age might require some purification by fire. Now, what kind of fire am I talking about? I'm talking about possibly, you could have some physical problems. Okay, you could have some financial problems. You could see some social problems on a large scale erupt. You could have some psychological problems happen because you are experiencing or being exposed to things that you never thought were possible. Okay, I don't know. I don't know. I'm not a prophet. I can't tell you what we're going to see, but I will guarantee through historical replication. Because this is the way we work as human beings in life, stuff happens. Stuff happens, okay? And how do you maintain this positive attitude during this golden age? That's a task. It's something you must actively do. You say no to fear. You say no to fear, you delete the fear, you put the fear away. It's almost like hitting the delete button. You know how, this is a good way to explain it to the modern age. Okay, all of a sudden you're sitting there, you're reading some text, and what I'm saying is that thoughts coming through your mind. Oh, I'm going to do this. I'm going to go over here, and this person's doing that, whatever. And all of a sudden you get on this negative mindset. Oh, but my goodness, this could happen, and oh my goodness, what will happen here, and oh my goodness, you can stop yourself right there in your psychological movie that you're playing in your mind. Say no, stop, stop, and you can, okay, do this psychologically, okay, in your mind. Highlight the text, like, oh no, this isn't going to work. Highlight that in your mind, hit delete, boom, gone, delete, gone. But if you delete that negative text, you must replace it with something good. Instead of this will all go wrong, when you delete that in your mind, you highlight it, you delete it, gone, you write. You start to write. Hit the keyboard, boom, 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 boom. Everything is going to be great, better than it ever has been. This will be a great success. And then feel it. Once you feel it, hit send. Boom. Send that message out there. And that's the modern way to do this. What do you think, Bob?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And then this is a great time to do it because it's got a lot of positive momentum to ride on. And there's an app and a device, Phoenix, that was created by the HeartMath Institute, and they do a lot of things. One of the things they do is they set up detection devices at like 7 different places around the world that are measuring the collective electromagnetic pulse of the planet. And then there are people, including me, who have this device called Inner Balance, and we can open up the app on a particular day and hour, and we can see a map of the world, and we can see what the electromagnetic, conglomerate is, and you can see the names of all the people who have tuned in to help with the energy of the world at that time. And what you do is you put this clip onto your ear. It's got a transponder that communicates to your cell phone, and you watch the app, and you go into a state of gratitude and rhythmic breathing. And this changes the energy that your heart muscle is putting off into a beautiful, coherent type of wave. And you have thousands of people around the world that are doing it at the same time. And the collective receivers, these 7 receivers around the world, feed their information back to a central processor that gives you a global coherence index for that moment. And it actually changes during the set times when people go in to do a global energy enhancement, participation. And so it's very real. There's scientific instruments that measure this, and I'll wager to say that the positivity you see that's coming about right now with this golden age, where we're going to have transparency and free speech, and um, you know, and even now kids, the 18 to 29-year-olds are starting to have this huge swell of optimism and positivity. And we, as a collective, people, following along with the Patriot Health Report, Midnight Overwatch, are the golden women and the golden men for this golden age. And so the challenge or the question is what am I going to do? Who am I going to be in this golden age? What will I do to contribute to this groundswell of positivity? And watch what's going on, right? You can watch and see, what's going to be revealed, for example, from the JFK assassination. There's going to be a disclosure, and probably is going to involve some three-letter agencies. Well, who just got confirmed? The second person to get confirmed for the cabinet, the director of the CIA. What's he going to have to say about this? And how are we going to see what's going to change from the old revelation to the brand new? How are we going to modify and get better and get more positive with more disclosure and more goodness instead of assassinations? And you'll be very real, very tangible evidence of progress. And if you can have faith and trust that this golden age is in fact in process right now, and we can get very clear about who we want to be as a golden man, a golden woman, and what do we want to do? What do we want to do in this new age that will be perhaps different and better? And know and have faith that we can change and that we can win.
Very true. And that is the task set before all of us. I mean, we're seeing these things. Some people almost, it's like it's too good to be true. I mean, is the swamp really, truly, finally being drained? Is it really happening? And, this isn't a political show. We're talking about, if you want to hear geopolitical, you can come over to PIR Intel. Now, I'll leave a link to that below because some people maybe think it's the only program I do. I'll put a link down there in the description box below how you can go to that. It's a paywall right now. Honestly, I'm telling you, it's a paywall. Why is it a paywall? In the past, we've experienced massive amount of censorship. You say certain words, you say certain things. I had 60,000, or like just short of 60,000 subscribers on YouTube, Bob, and never said anything hateful. But in the empire of lies, truth is treason. The way it was, and like boom, I got nuked. Everything was gone. All my programs, everything was totally gone, and that was because of the censorship. But I'm back on YouTube. Don't ask me how I got there. Okay, don't ask me how I started Midnight Overwatch because that's kind of I don't know. Don't ask. I did it and got back on because I was banned for life. They banned me from YouTube for life. I've been banned from PayPal for life. I was banned from Facebook for life. And I've never said one hateful, mean, derogatory thing to anyone. But that's the way it used to be. That's the way it used to be. It's not that way now. Things are changing in a big way. And it's kind of almost unbelievable for people to believe. Is this like really happening? Let me think. Yes, it's really happening. It's really happening. This is the golden age. This can be the golden age for you and for you, for all of us. This can be very, very special. Bob, moving forward here with all of this topic, give us some more thoughts and instructions on what you think the best way to maintain this positive attitude and to maintain a positive trajectory, if you will, during this time.
Yeah, sure. So it's good for people to know that humans in general and systems and planets and galaxies are what are called dissipative structures. And dissipative structures tend to have periods where they spiral into chaos and then kind of collapse. And I think we're in a period right now of that where the censorship and all the other things that went with it, false imprisonments, etc., that whole energy has come to a tipping point and has now flipped. And dissipative structures collapse. They collapse in on themselves, and then sometimes they've reorganized at a much higher level, a much more positive level. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes they go into breakdown. So some people will experience dissipation and maybe actually have a mental breakdown and have to even be hospitalized, where others can crash and go, okay, that's it. Enough of that. Now I'm going to start doing things this way, a better way, a different way. And so we need to know we have a choice, right? So if you find that this dissipation is occurring, that's all right. You can catch it at a certain point. You don't have to wait for a tipping point. People don't always have to wait until things become complete chaos before they reorganize. They can notice it coming and say, okay, there's the tipping point, and now I'm going to choose while I still have the ability to choose when I'm not in the hospital on medication and I still have the ability to choose. I'm going to choose now that I'm going to start doing this. And so it's good to know about how the brain really works in regard to positive thinking and, as you said, Phoenix, moving forward, right? And so we know that dopamine is the neurotransmitter of moving forward. And when our brain secretes dopamine, whatever it was that we were doing that made that dopamine increase, we tend to want to move toward that. And that's what's so dangerous about methamphetamine and cocaine is it gives such a huge dopamine surge that people don't want to do anything else except that, and it can wreck their life. But in general, dopamine's a very positive thing, and it gives us a sense that we're moving forward. And it also changes our perception where we see more possibilities and we see less negativity. And so depression it seems to go hand in hand with an attitude, oh, well, I see that opportunity, but that won't work because, right? And dopamine, on the other hand, along with serotonin that are in balance, is the opposite of depression. It's optimism and positivity. And dopamine doesn't have to wait to be secreted until you have finished something. As a matter of fact, you secrete less dopamine when you actually finish a project, a big project, than you do along the way. The human brain tends to like to see progress in the right direction. So if you have a sense, okay, I'm not where I want to be right at the moment, but I can see that I can possibly be there, and I know I'm headed in the right direction because of what I'm doing, this makes your brain secrete dopamine. And dopamine then feels good, and it makes you want to do even more of those things. So it creates forward momentum. And this is how the reward system in the brain works. It's released when you are in pursuit and knowing that you're on the right path. And so this is very important to know because you don't have to wait to be happy when you're all done. If you're simply moving in the right direction, you can use that as momentum. And you want to make sure that you attach reward to your effort, not necessarily what got accomplished, but did you give yourself a positive affirmations, a pat on the back because of your effort? Dopamine loves effort and action. Right now,
Yes.
yeah, very, very important. It also has a countering effect of too much epinephrine. So epinephrine is like adrenaline, but in your brain. And if you have, a couple of athletic teams are playing a game against each other, and it's a very hard fought game and evenly matched teams, their effort level is very, very high all throughout the game. But you notice what happens at the end. There's a winner and a loser. The losers tend to crash, right? The winners have all this new energy that allows them to celebrate and go on a boat parade the next day and rah rah, and it's like they're juiced up, they're jacked up from this victory. Well, and the other people with all this epinephrine, they now crash, right? And that will happen to people all along the way, different things you're working on. If you work really hard all day long and then it's like, oh my God, I got to crash, I got to lie down, right? I'm exhausted. It's because you were working very hard. You had more and more and more epinephrine, and you can only do so much before you crash. But if you get into more of a flow where you allow yourself the luxury of dopamine, then the dopamine counteracts that crash and allows you to continue on more in the flow without ever having to crash. And so you don't have to have this feeling, oh, I'm exhausted, I've got to lie down or go to bed. No, it's more like, wow, that was a very satisfying day. And I think that I'll, be able to fall asleep in it with a sense of peace. And so they say, that dopamine gives energy for you to continue to strive without that crash. And it helps you to continue to watch for opportunities. And and so people will ask, well, what is it that I can do? What can I do to help to increase my dopamine, but not too much, and to take command of it? Well, the first thing is to know that you can. Know that you can become aware, you can become knowledgeable, and that you can take charge of what happens with your dopamine, knowing that if you are putting in effort, dopamine loves effort. So pick a task that you really don't want to do, whether it's filing a bunch of papers or cleaning the garage, whatever it is, and just simply start. So take that pile of paper, put it on your desk, and take the very first sheet. And what am I going to do with it? Am I going to trash it? Am I going to delegate it? Am I going to put it in the to-do pile? Or am I going to put it in the to-read pile? Right? And you put it in one of those 4 piles, and you go to the second one, the third one, and then you sit back and you go, you know what? I'm on the right track here. My goal is to eventually get all these papers filed, and this feels really good. I'm going to allow myself to sit back and go, that's great. I'm on the right track. You do the same thing with your garage. Now, why are you doing this? Because you're beginning to train yourself to be in charge of your reward system, to be in charge of your dopamine, and to use it to your advantage instead of having random types of dopamine secretions just at random when this happened or that happened, and too much epinephrine. You don't have to have it be that way. You can control it. And so you don't even have to have a task to do, Phoenix. You can imagine one, and your brain will be able to secrete dopamine even if you just run a made up movie in your mind. And so you can say, okay, I've got this thing that I want to do that's going to take 3 steps. Okay. And it's going to be, all right, I have to analyze the situation. I have to get the right tool, and then I have to go ahead and use that tool. All right. So maybe it's hanging a picture that you always wanted to hang, but the wall is still blank and you've been procrastinating. Don't even do it. Just sit back and go, okay, I need a hammer, some nails, and some hooks. Okay. Imagine yourself going to the closet where that stuff is and getting it out, and then coming back and saying, okay, now I have to decide where exactly am I going to hang it? How high? Next to the light? Whatever. Boom. And then you imagine yourself doing it. Tap, 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 put it up, hang it up. Great. And then just cross your arms across your chest and sit back and go, wow, that was really good. I'm on the right track to making my house, my condo, look nicer. That was really good. I'm going to allow myself to sit here and be happy. Right? That exercise, without actually doing anything, is the beginning of training yourself to be in charge instead of being dragged around and your brain being manipulated with random secretions of neurotransmitters that you're not in charge of. And this is the key thing to having a positive attitude, because when dopamine is secreted, you feel positive and you want to do more of what it was that made you feel positive. So learn to do this and know how to manipulate it, right? But don't be fooled also, because, you know, there's a really great example of people who are writers or authors or content creators. And so say somebody has a goal to make 5 YouTube videos that are going to be sequential, and they are all needed in order to complete a project. And so they get the first one done and they want to show their friends, hey, look at this. We got this great video and it's all done. And people are, oh, that video is so great. That's just amazing. Well, there's this funny thing that can happen is you get this dopamine rush that's pretty high because you have external validation, and it creates apathy, right? So what happens next? The second video is not getting made. The second chapter of the book is not getting written. It's your brain has been fooled into thinking that it doesn't have to do anything else because you're just going to bask in the glory of this first chapter for 17 years.
Oh my God, Bob, let me
before
interrupt
you write the second chapter.
Let me interrupt you there. I know someone who wrote an amazing book who did that exact thing what you're talking about.
Yeah,
I have experienced this, not myself, but I saw it in someone, and it was the most amazing book. I read the draft, like, you've got to publish this, but they fell into what you just said. Please continue.
Yeah. And so rather than being dragged along because you're unaware, you're not knowledgeable, and you haven't decided to take control, you want to really move into this big time. You want to be you want to choose what it is you want to be, what you want to do, and most importantly, how you want to feel. You want to choose that from the infinite quantum field of all possibilities. You can sit down and imagine and create the paradise of your own choosing and how you would feel as you accomplish that. All right. And then that emotional state of your future self can be embodied, manipulated, and created right now with your imagination, because your neurotransmitters will align whether something actually has happened or if you are imagining that it has happened. And now this gives you impetus and positivity and encouragement to move forward. And so this allows you to become proactive. Dopamine is usually associated with being proactive until you get too much of it, and then it can be apathy. So stand guard against that apathy and continue to be proactive and to be happy right now as you're doing the next steps. All right. And you can celebrate and you can be really happy whenever you do a next step, but just know that it's a process and that you're being rewarded for effort. And so effort is the key. And if you're having trouble, still having trouble being happy, once you've set a goal, you've set tasks, there's a couple of things that you can do to decide to become happy right now. And one of them, Phoenix, is to do a simple exercise that would take about 5 minutes, and you pick a number. Okay. Pick any number you want, 1 through 10, and then go walking. And so say you want to pick the number 7. You want to walk along and you're going to count your steps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And as you take that 7th step, you want to smile. Keep on walking. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Oh, now 17. Smile. All right. Get to 27. Smile. Now what do you have? You have what's called a stack. All right. It's like tic-tac-toe. A yes set, a happy set. 7, happy. 7, happy. 7, happy. Right? Simon says do this. Simon says do this. Simon says do this. All right? It's a yes set. And keep on walking. Walking's really good for you. Get up to 97. And guess what? You will begin to feel happy just because of this exercise. And now in that happy state, you're much more capable of being optimistic, sitting down and making your plans and your task list, putting in effort, moving forward, generating some dopamine, noticing the whole thing going on, not just doing it, noticing everything that you're doing and noticing your feelings as you go. Right? Now, if that doesn't work, there's something else you can do. You can sit down and make a list of good and bad, where you can say to yourself, okay, in 2025, this is what I want to do. I want to develop some new habits. I want to exercise more. I want to pay more attention to my nutrition. I want to have more positive thinking. And so in your 2 columns, you write down the good about that. How are you going to feel? What's going to happen? List them out. 10 things of what's going to be good. And then literally put your hand over that section of the page and write down bad. What if I don't do any of these things and I continue along the same path? What are the bad things that are going to happen? I'm going to continue to gain weight. The bad habit that I have of, waking up in the middle of the night and not going back to sleep for 3 hours because I, decided to watch TV, right? What's going to happen there? My health's going to continue to deteriorate because I am not taking care of myself. And then try writing this down. I might even have a heart attack. Really?
Wow.
Well, that wouldn't be very good.
That's
right?
harsh, Bob. That's harsh, but it's real.
Yeah.
And this is the reality that everyone, like I was saying, with being positive, but the reality of the situation, that's reality, people.
Yeah. I have to tell you, this morning, Phoenix, Eastern time, was right around noon. I got a sense that there was a person I needed to call. And I called him. And you know what? That example of a heart attack, that's exactly where he was headed. And as I was talking to him, he mentioned it. The doctors told me if I don't get busy and do this, I might have a heart attack. I was like, well, what are you going to do? Well, I don't know. And blah, blah, blah. I said, no, I don't know. This is what you're going to do, right? And you're going to be happy about it. You're going to be positive because when you do it, that you're going to start to feel a lot better. And that plan you have for starting that new business, you'll be able to actually do it because you'll have your health back and your energy back and your focus back and your concentration. And, it's a very true reality. I mean, we see this all the time, Phoenix, with people, because we're dealing with people by the thousands, and some of them or don't have the motivation yet to do what it is they know they need to do. And so this contrast sheet of the good that will happen if you do it and the bad that will happen if you don't is very, very powerful. This is not something that was made up as kind of a cute way to do things. The neuroscientists know that in order to take positive action, the brain has to have contrast. It has to have an awareness of the good, which is the pleasure, and the bad, which is the pain. And there's a dynamic influence on the human psyche of pleasure and pain. And so don't hide from it. Don't ignore it. Write it down on a piece of paper. If I don't start eating properly and stop drinking soda pop, and if I don't start exercising, I'll probably gain another 20 pounds in 2025, and who knows if I'll even live to decide what to do in 2026. Right? Because people get to that point. They get to be 50 pounds, 100 pounds, 150 pounds overweight. Right? Well, you want to talk about a tipping point, try gaining another 50 pounds. Right? So this is why you do this contrast exercise. The neuroscientists know that it is a very powerful technique for inspiring people to take action. And and celebrate the interim success and celebrate the effort. Those are by far the most important things.
Yeah, very true. The effort and all of this. You said a couple of things that kind of made me laugh, and I won't just. Has anyone noticed I have not distracted Bob this time? I usually like to. I don't like to, but I do distract Bob. I held my thoughts to myself. I know some people enjoy that when I don't and go forward, but this is a very important topic. Very, very important topic. And Bob needed to share with us exactly what he's saying. And this golden age, everyone, we are rolling into the new age, hyper novelty. We're going into an entire new age of Aquarius. We've actually transformed astrologically into the beginning phases of the age of Aquarius. Officially, many people say it won't be hundreds of years from now, whenever, but we're in that energy right now. We're moving out of Pisces into Aquarius. Very, very positive. If we look back astrologically, we haven't seen this since the late 1700s. Okay, where we're at right now. And this isn't a program about astrology, etc., so I want to get into that. You can check your favorite astrologer for that. But what Bob's talking about, this new shift, this new energy, the golden age, this isn't just talk. This is reality, economically, socially, energetically, right? And we have abilities, we have opportunities that we haven't seen for a long time. And to appreciate those abilities, those opportunities, and what's going on, we need to be very aware of this, like Bob was just saying, the aware factor. And one thing you can do is, if you want more information, contact Bob, contact his office. And ask him, like, oh my gosh, don't ask me. I tell you every day on PIR Intel. If interesting. Okay, I'm sorry. I just saw something interesting on my recording program jumped up, and that's interesting in itself. What we need to do is to be very positive. And if you need help with that, again, I'm sorry I was distracted. I had a thing just jump up with my program. Just like I was saying before, things will happen. Bob, why don't you tell everyone how to contact you, final thoughts, closing wisdom on this entire topic, because we are at the top of the hour.
Yeah, so the easiest thing to do is go over to patriotintelreport.com. You'll see a banner on the top left that looks like a lady in a blue lightning storm. So click on that lady in the blue lightning. It'll bring you right over to my site. If you want to try out the Myotrol that we talked about with the lady and the testimonial, or if you need help with anything, I mean, you can't believe the kinds of stuff, Phoenix, that people call us with that we're able to help them with. I mean, the last two people that called us that have fibromyalgia, they are doing extremely well, and to the point where they don't have pain anymore. So things like that, you'd be surprised what the new science of holistic nutrition and maybe some other things we can tell you about can help people with that you would think could not be helped. Right. And if you want to reach us on the phone, you can give us a call. We have an 800 number that's 861-4609. And we're on Central Avenue in St. Petersburg, Florida. A lot of people come here for vacation, Clearwater, St. Pete. People come down to watch the New York Yankees in spring training at Steinbrenner Field, right? Or they come to watch the Phillies in Clearwater. And if you want to come by and visit, give a call ahead of time and I'll make sure that I'm here to visit with you. Just recently, Phoenix, we had a listener of your show that came to visit with us. Really great gentleman and musician who I've been helping for years. Right. So we look forward to hearing from you. And also, just last thing that I would say, Phoenix, is this. Since this is a golden age, why not be super enthusiastic about it, right? And if we're going to be those golden men and women for this golden age, just know that wherever you are now, you can evolve to that next level. Evolve from being a princess or a prince into a queen or a king. Right? You don't have to wait for any secession to occur before you can be the queen or the king, because each and every one of us has this kingdom within to rule. And as we rule it, we control what we talked about earlier. We control the dopamine, the norepinephrine. We can choose our thoughts. We can choose our goals. We can choose our destiny. And we can be that king or queen right now through our own decision making.
Wow, very amazing. Yeah, the golden years, the golden age. We are there right now. Bob, I want to thank you so much for what you've shared with us today. And everyone, if you have more questions, call Bob at the numbers he provided. And we truly are into the golden time, the golden age. How are you going to deal with it? How can you deal with it? How can you remain positive in all this? Yeah, that's a task upon you. But you've been presented today alternatives, ideas, methods, and also help through Bob's numbers. And you can call him. Again, the consultations are free. You want to speak to Bob, ask them, and we can talk about all of this. But it's so important, everyone, be positive. Be positive, be positive, be positive. I had a friend ask me one time, Bob, how are you so positive? And I'm like, that's just the way I am, but I'm real about things. And, he had a hard time dealing with negativity. And I have somewhat of an advantage because I was in the special operations, airborne ranger, special forces, and never in Delta Force. I wasn't. I saw those guys, knew who they were. But anyway, if you weren't positive, you were out. If you weren't a positive member, if you didn't believe that you could do the unbelievable, if you didn't believe that you could do that which no one else can, there was no room for you. And it's not being mean. It's like the reality. The most positive people you've ever met, I've ever met in my life, Bob, were special operations people. all aspects. I know Navy SEALs. We're buds with them. Of course, I was Special Forces. I was Army Ranger. Ranger Regiment. I was in the regiment, not just tabbed by some outside force. I was a serving Army Ranger, and everybody was, we were hard. We were, tough against each other, but everybody was positive. And if you didn't believe that you could do what that was unbelievable, you weren't there anymore. You were out, you were gone. And it's not because we were like no good. It was because we don't need anything negative. We don't need a whiner. We don't need someone. Are you a whiner? Everyone, are you a whiner? Oh, I can't pay my bills. Oh, I can't, get healthy. Oh, I can't find a good relationship. Oh, my family doesn't like me. My friends don't like me. Are you that whiner? Don't be that. Don't be that. Okay? Okay, man up, woman up, be positive, be strong. Come on, you can do this. Come on. I'm giving you a clap. I'm giving you a clap. Okay, because it wasn't what I'm talking about. The special operations thing is not like, you suck, you're out. Okay, no, there's opportunity. Come on. You can do this. You can do this. There was encouragement from everybody. The most encouraging people you'll ever meet are special operations people. And like, come on, you can do this. Come on, suck it up. You can do this. You can do this. You can do this. But if you can't do that, if you can't, goodbye. You're out. Okay? I mean, that's just the way it is. And then you end up being surrounded by the most positive people, Bob, that you've ever met in your life. And I know that you professionally, and we've never talked about this, and we won't, your interaction with Bob Gilpatrick, and his significant other, which is a female, by the way, so you don't have to wonder. It's at the highest levels of special operations you could ever get. Like, yeah, if anything, they're just like giving me orders. I'm not like hanging out with them. These guys, Bob and his girlfriend, hang out with these people. They know them. They're friends. They're dear friends. And these people, and Bob knows this, not from an operational sense, it's the most positive people you could ever meet. So you want to be a warrior. You want to be I'm a spiritual warrior. Good for you. Be positive. I believe in this. I pray for this. I'm a warrior. I'm a prayer warrior. Good for you. Are you? Are you? I'm asking you right now. Are you? Are you? Come on. Show me what you got. Come on. Man up, woman up. Come on. Let's see that positive attitude within you, within your heart. I want to see the light click on right now, that you know you'll be healthy, that you will be wealthy, that you will be at peace, protected, and loved, and that your family, those whom you love, no matter what state they may be, they will be okay. That's positive attitude. Talking about positive attitude, it would be very pretentious of me to say I'm the most positive person you've ever encountered, because there's thousands of us, thousands, and this is how you excel. Do you want to be special operations? Be positive. Be positive. Know that you know that you can see and do the impossible, because that's what we do. That's how we roll. And if you can't do that, goodbye. Okay? And it's not being mean, it's reality. We need positivity. We need positivity in this golden age. We need golden people, golden energy. We need power and strength and positivity. Come on, people. Come on. Show me what you got. You don't have to show me. You don't have to send me an email or anything. Show yourself. Show those around you. If you love people, if you love your children, if you love your grandchildren, if you love or care about your neighbors, be the best that you can be for them. For them. Okay? Come on. You guys have this. Golden age, golden time, golden possibilities, and golden positivity. Come on. Show us what you got. Bob, thank you very much. And, brother, I really appreciate everything that you share with us. It's so important.
My pleasure. My pleasure, Phoenix. Good to be on with you.
Well, good to be on with you. Last words? I mean, I know I asked you for your closing thoughts, but let's do it again because I went on a rant there. This is about you. Sorry, sometimes I go on a rant. like what?
That's really great. Yeah, no, I would just encourage people like this, Phoenix, if you're not sure, if you've listened to the program and you believe that something's blocking you or you think you're stuck, do a couple of things. Go to our website and watch some of our podcasts. Watch our podcasts on havening. Watch our podcasts on the emotional freedom technique, the ultimate mind calming exercise, and practice some of those things and see what happens. And then you can always give me a call after that. You're best off watching some of that first. And then if you need to talk and you're still thinking that you're stuck or something's blocking you, give a call and I'll help you figure that out, and we'll help you get back onto the right track.
Very good. And again, one more time, Bob, as we're rolling out your number.
Yeah, it's 800-861-4609.
Very good. Bobby O'Patrick of Boomers Forever Young. Brother, thank you so much for everything you do. And now, there's some, I mean, we touched upon it before, but there's some things that you don't know. Bob and his significant other do for veterans. Very important. I appreciate it and thank you. And anyway, what else can I say? Be positive, everyone. Bob, are you positive?
I think so, Phoenix.
Yeah.
I wonder about that sometimes, but not very often.
Not very often. Yeah, I will tell you right now, Bob would not be phased out. Bob, without a doubt. Anyway, Bob, thank you very much. And
okay.
Anyway, till the next PIR, everyone. God bless. And what else can I say? Be positive, be strong. Okay? Say no to fear in all of this. Until next time, Phoenix and Bob out. God bless.